Grace and the peace of God the Father and the Son Jesus our Lord be with you today. As I welcome you again to your morning devotion right here on the Home Base Ministries Network, this is your cup of Joe. Good morning to the evangelist Dexter, Friday, Sabbath, Rosa, top of the morning to you, man, and to your family, and to all of you guys listening in across the various social media networks and platforms. Here we go. We are in the book of Matthew chapter 10 from verses 32, and Jesus then tells them that whoever confesses him before men, meaning that he is the Son of God, in turn he will confess them before the Father, establishing from this point that the requisite before the Father is his endorsement. You understand that? He has to endorse you. To confess him means you have to believe who he is in the form of the Son, the flesh, which as said results in your endorsement or justification, because once you believe that, then you believe he had died and that he rose again. Verse 33, Jesus then gives them the alternate to confessing him, which would be that if he is denied, then he will also deny you before the Father, establishing that there are two outcomes only: an acceptance or a rejection, both of which he would be responsible for. Understand? It's clear cut and dry. A man's eternal existence depends on Jesus' endorsement, which comes quite easily not by works. You cannot endorse by works, but by believing only. Jesus has never said anything further than this. So it's absolutely foolish to add anything or think that if you have been endorsed for confessing him, that you can then be unendorsed. Only fools would think or come up with anything like that. Literally. Seriously. That's foolish. Alright? So it's about believing only in what he did on the cross, and that's it. When you do that, he endorses you. He never said you have to work to be endorsed. Alright? So verse 34. Jesus then tells the 12 quite sharply, I didn't come to bring peace on the earth, but a sword. So he tells them, don't think that. Do not go out there with the wrong conception of things. Now I want you to remember, this is like the briefing before they go out to do some of the work, to do the work. They have not left as yet. He is still at this point giving them their motivational speech before they leave. So he begins to let them know that they are not going out there to look for friends or keep friends. If they do not accept them, then they reject, and they are apart from them. That's it. It's an either or scenario. We cannot compromise the gospel. Verse 35, he then further goes into enforcing that they understand how serious there should be no compromise. Not even for your father, daughter, mother, daughter-in-law, or mother-in-law. Absolutely no compromise because of any relationship. You see, if you do that, it's like you are consenting to their incorrectness. Jesus said he came to bring variance, to bring difference, and that's it. No compromise because of any relationship. Verse 36, he then says, a man's enemy will then be of his own household, establishing even more firmly that family and relations does not have any precedence over the spiritual relationship through Christ Jesus the Lord. Verse 37, Jesus continues to enforce how compromise is not to be tolerated, especially because of blood relationships and family ties. So he tells the 12, if they love either mother or father more than him, then they have made themselves unworthy of him. There's no compromise. Or if you love your son or your daughter more than him, you are unworthy also. This is how much emphasis is placed upon understanding how seriously this is when it comes to Jesus and relationships, which is placed above which. We are being warned as to which relationship needs to be emphasized on more than that which this is to literally present variance between who is for him and who is not. There must be a clear difference and distinction between the believer and the unbelievers, regardless of relationship. You see, the thing is, you not understanding this variance allows a weakness and compromise in your life, which will surely encourage an attempt to balance both the relationships. Your relationship with the unbelieving relations and Christ, and that, my friends, is the absolute incorrect thing. There's not to be any balance because the relationships are not to be placed on equal standing. That in itself is compromise. Jesus is the variance. He is the variance between life and the death. He's the variance between healing and the sickness. He is the variance between understanding and not understanding, between change and things remaining the same. He is the difference between every challengeable thing in your life when he is in the highest position above all things and above all persons and above all relationships. Then you become worthy. You in that regard have been given the ability to determine how worthy you are to receive every good thing offered. So you tell your situations that Jesus is the variance. Put him above all things, force change as all things are subdued in his name. I'll see you guys tomorrow. This is Pastor Solomon De La Rosa in God's grace.